Welcome to our first mods video brought to you by Mcclubz. My name is Tengku Djan.
And I'm Merlvyn.
And today we're going to talk about tires.
So Djan, there's a lot of numbers on the tires like 225 and stuff like that. Actually, what does it really mean? Okay,
so we start off with the areas which we need to know. Yeah. So in terms of tire sizing, this is a 225/45 R17. What that means is the tire is 225 millimeters wide. 45 is the aspect ratio, or you call it the sidewall height. So that is measured in percentage. So it's 45% of 225 millimeters. That gives you your sidewall height. Yeah? And then the letter R, which means it's a radial tire, and 17, which is your actual wheel size measured in inches.
So everyone talk about tread wear. What is actually tread wear on a tire?
Okay, for instance, this tire is a tread wear rating of 300. So this is a normal road tire. What tread wear means is it actually determines what type of compound that's on the actual tire. So if you're talking about a regular tire with a tread wear of 300, which means it's pretty much hard wearing. And when the number goes down, then the performance increases, so the grip increases, the rubber is softer, but the wear rate also is faster.
So what if my daily car was a modified car? What tires should I use?
Well, you can still continue to use this sort of tires even though you run a modified car, but you can also opt for a high performance or ultra high performance tire such as this. So in terms of design, you can see that there is a big difference from the tire previously. In terms of block design, it's bigger, and the water channeling is actually slightly less. So what this relates to is with the bigger blocks, there's actually less deflection from the blocks itself, which actually translates to higher grip, better steering response, and control. The downside is with this type of tires is you would not have as good a water dissipation versus your regular road tire. So you have to be careful in wet weather conditions.
So just now we saw the road tire, the tread wear is 300. How about this one?
Okay, for high performance or ultra high performance tires, they tend to start at about 200 tread wear. So which means the compounds are softer versus your regular road tires. So this would basically give you the performance that's needed out of a performance tire. But as I mentioned earlier, the wear rate is much higher versus your regular road tire.
Okay. So I've heard people saying symmetric tires, asymmetric tires. Actually, what are they actually?
Okay, what we have here is a symmetric tire. And the previous tire is also a symmetric tire. So when it comes down to tires, there's always a balance between performance and comfort. With the asymmetric tire, what they're trying to do is to give you the best of both worlds. So if you look at the design here versus your regular road tire, you can see the blocks are different. Actually, even the construction is different. So the ultra high performance tire actually has a stiffer sidewall versus the regular road tires. The ultra high performance tire has bigger blocks versus your regular tire. So with an asymmetric, you can imagine these tires being cut in half. So on the outer edge, you are using the UHP tire design and structure while incorporating on the inner side of the tire something very similar to your regular road tires. So that will give you a certain level of comfort and performance in one tire.
So we have looked at these two tires. What if I want to go even faster than this UHP tire?
Okay, so you have the option of going to a semi-slick tire. Most of the time, a semi-slick tire is an off-road tire. They have a tread wear rating of 100 and below, so which means the wear rate is super duper high, but the grip levels are also very high. If you look at the overall design, you can see that the blocks are way bigger. The channeling is way less, which means they do not work as well as your UHP or your regular road tire in wet weather conditions. So I do not recommend you using these tires on the road. But if you're talking about track days, this is probably one of the perfect tires for it, which gives you a balance of performance in the dry and to a certain extent performance in the wet, which you can utilize on your track days.
So we have talked about semi-slick right now. What if we want to go even faster than a semi-slick?
If you want to go even faster, then there is slick tires. And if you want to go fast in the dirt, they are rally tires or gravel tires. But basically, both these tires are at the extreme end of motoring, which we call motorsports, and solely used for motorsports purpose only. So as I mentioned to you earlier, the contact patch, the block designs, the larger the blocks, the better the response, the higher the grip, the lower the tread wear, the better the grip. This tire incorporates it all. So what they have designed here is a tire with no grooves. Why? Because the bigger the block, the better the response and the grip. So they've given you a whole tire with no grooves, so you get maximum grip, maximum response out of the tire. So this is, for example, a tire that would be utilized in Formula 1 and other forms of motor racing. So on the other spectrum of motor racing is rallying or dirt racing. And if you look at the design, it's completely different from a slick tire. Why? Because you're running it on loose surface, either sand, mud, or loose soil. And what the tires need to do is being able to actually dig through the loose surface to actually gain grip from a harder surface below it, so to allow all this loose surface, which is the sand or the mud, to actually dissipate through the grooves to allow the tires to gain traction.
So Djan, what is the tread wear rating for these kind of tires? Is it the same as these semi-slick tires?
Actually very similar. So there would be a tread wear rating of 100 and below, but normally they are classified as super soft, soft, medium or hard compound. So all the formulation is different, and that formula is actually not shared with us. But instead, we are given different specifications which we can choose from between a super soft all the way to a hard compound.
Okay. So what are the time difference between all these tires in Sepang?
Well, honestly, it's very hard to quantify the exact time or the exact speed between the three different tires. But if you start from a normal tire, it should be 4 seconds faster with a UHP and another 4 seconds versus a semi-slick tire. Okay, so we've come to the end of our first video regarding tires. If you liked it, please click like, subscribe to us, drop us a comment, and see you at the next video.
Ciao.